Hey guys, today I want to take a little detour and apply some of the things we've learned. So I'm going to do something live with you, meaning that I actually haven't done this yet, but I want to do this together so that you can see real life engineering. And so I'm going to probably make some mistakes as I do this, but we'll figure it out together and you can learn from my mistakes as we do this. So you may or may not know what this thing is. This is what people call an LED strip. So you can buy these things, like this one I got off on Amazon, and people will stick these up around your TV so that it lights up, makes different, I guess, decorative lights while you're watching TV, or you can put them around signs or just kind of for fun. The back of this is a little adhesive thing, so you would just peel it off and then stick it somewhere, and then it would make different lights. Now, this light is a RGB LED, so basically this one light you see here, like this one right here I'm pointing to, can actually create red, green, and blue lights out of one single light, and you can control them to make different shades, different colors. If you change the intensities of the green, blue, and red, you get actually different colors. So typically you would take this thing and this connector, it's got four pins here, right? 4 sockets, and it would connect to something else that would then connect to a computer or some kind of USB charger, and then there's a remote that I don't have here that I actually can't find. But you could then use a remote to set different colors. So what I want to do is let's see if we can get this thing to work using our Arduino Noggin thing. So how do you do that? Well, let's see. The first thing I would look at is okay, so how many sockets do I have? I have 4. Okay. Then the next thought is okay, so what do each of these sockets mean? Well, if you look closely here, you see 4 of these strips, right? You have it says plus 5V, it says G, it says R, and then it says B. So what that tells me is probably plus 5V means that it needs 5 volts. G means it probably controls the green light, R the red light, and B the blue light. So I'm not 100% sure, but that is just probably what it does. And then, well, how do I know what wire connects to what? Well, you see, it's kind of weird because usually 5V is like the power, and I'm usually thinking red. So maybe the red is the 5V. But then look over here, one of the colors is R, which is red. So is this red cable for the red light control, or is this red cable for 5V? I'm not sure, but I'm just going to guess that it's for red, because if I look at the other ones, it's like there's a green here, probably for the G, for the green light control, and then blue for the blue light, and then you're left with the black. So maybe the black one is for 5V. Now, that's kind of weird too, because we've learned that we want to use red for 5V and black for G and D, but if you look on here, there is no G and D. There's only a G, but that's, I think, for green color. So I'm throwing all these things out there is because you don't really know 100% sure. You can only make some educated guesses. So I'm just going to go, so what you do is just say, okay, my best guess is that blue is to control blue, red control red, green is to control the green light, and then black is actually 5V. And that's kind of strange, but sometimes things are kind of strange. All right. I mean, it's probably because, my guess is that red, because there's already red there, so what are you going to do? You have 2 reds, one for the red light and one for 5V, that would be bad, because then you can't tell. You got two wires with the same color. So they went with black. But you know what? Let's try. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, I need to somehow connect this to my noggin here, right? So let's see. I got one of these blue ones. So I'm going to stick it in there. Hopefully it fits. It's really, there we go, really tight, but you know, it's just for testing. Blue, then the red to red. Now I like to use the same colors, otherwise I get confused, you know? Let's get this thing in there. And I hope you're curious. One of the most interesting things I think about engineering is that it's kind of like a surprise every time, you know? You don't really know if it's going to work or not, which makes it fun, I think. All right, so green of green, and then I got the black color. Okay, another thing, guys, while we're doing things like this, another thing to talk about is it's better to test like one thing at a time, right? Like I could just stick everything into certain spots and just like, you know, let's say just stuck them all into the board and then just started to see if it worked or not. That's not very smart, because if I make a mistake, I'd rather make a mistake just on one of these wires, right? Not on all four at the same time. So let's stick in the wire that I think is probably the most likely to be correct. Plus 5V is most likely 5V, because it's pretty obvious. Plus 5V, no one would label it as plus 5V if it's supposed to be G and D or something. That would be super weird. So I say plus 5V, I think, oh yeah, I'm saying the plus 5V I think is black, right? So let's stick this into 5V. That's the 5V on my board here. Okay. And I'll zoom in a little bit here. Right? So that's the 5V. And then now I want to see if one of the lights can turn on. So let's try the G, the green, which I connected to this color. So how do I test this? Well, I need to kind of guess what the circuit looks like. So this is where our whole circuit design, schematic stuff comes into play. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my whiteboard here. Okay. So now we got to think, kind of the stuff we've learned, right? I'm going to go like this and draw what I think this looks like. Okay, so I know that there is a plus 5V. I know that there was a, looking back at this, there's a G. There's also a R, and then the B. Okay. So how does this circuit work? Okay. My best guess, based on the things we've learned, is that inside here, there's going to be a light. Remember our LED. There's a light connected to the G. There's a light connected to the R. And there's also a light connected to the B. Something like that. Now remember, we also need a resistor. So maybe it looks something like this. There's a resistor here, resistor here, resistor here. And then since there's a 5V here, probably what's going on is that I have to give this thing a 5V power. So later on, I'm going to have my Noggin, or my Arduino, right? And I have my 5V. So I'm going to take the 5V power and connect it here. Now, where is that going to go? Now, the 5V, which is the positive power, always goes towards the plus side of the LED. You remember the plus side of the LED is like over here. So, what's going to happen is that this is probably connected then to that one. It's also connected to this one. It's also connected to this one. All right, now why do I know that? I don't know 100%, but because the positive voltage is always connected to the plus side of the LED, I'm thinking it's on this side, not over here, because this side right here would be the minus of the LED. This would be the minus. This would be the minus. Now you might be asking, why does the resistor have to be right here? Could I not have it like something where, could it not look like this? And then the resistor is like over here. You know, to answer that, it could be. Maybe it's like this, where the resistor is on this side, the minus side, rather than on the plus side. If you remember, we made circuits with the resistor. I think most of the time we put it over here, but for this, you know, this type of circuit, the resistor could be over here as well, as long as you have a resistor to slow down the electricity. So it could be either way. I'm going to just put it back, just because, you know, it looks more consistent, cleaner this way. But it could be there too. Now, if this is the case, then how do I turn the light on? Well, if you remember, we need to have a closed circuit for this LED to turn on. So if I have 5V here, what do I need to connect G to turn this thing on? And what do I connect R and what do I connect B to? Well, we got to do, what's the opposite of 5V? What is, if 5V is plus on the noggin, minus is G and D. So what that means, I think, is if I connect G to G and D, then I'm going to have electricity be able to go through all the way to G and D, closed circuit, and then this light should turn on. Same thing for the R, same thing for the B. So what I'm going to do now is try to program this and see if what I'm saying is true. Okay. Well, actually, we don't even need to program it yet. We could just connect. Okay, we have 5V connected to here. We could just connect G, which is this pin, to G and D, and then see if the light turns on. So here, let me pull up the my whiteboard again, so you know what I'm talking about, right? So my 5V is already connected through this black cable here. If I connect the G, which is this green, to G and D on the noggin, hopefully my green light should turn on. So let's try. So I'm going to put in this power. Okay. So nothing's on right now because this is not connected. So let's create a full circuit by connecting this to G and D. So where's my G and D? Hopefully this works, guys. Oh, it's really bright. All these lights have turned on, pretty cool. And wow, really bright. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out that. That was pretty effective. Okay, now I'm feeling good, right? Now I think I figured out the circuit. Let's try the red. And then again, just like the green, just put it to G and D and I'll make a closed circuit. I got red. Nice. And then I'm going to take that out. Let's try the blue. Blue is to G and D. And I got blue. All right. So now, let's do something interesting now. What if I plug all three of them in and have all lights on at the same time? Let's try that. Let's plug them all. Green into G and D, red into G and D. I don't know if you can see it. With both of those on, it's like yellow colored now. So green and red kind of make yellow. Now, what if I connect blue? What do I get? It's kind of like it's kind of like a whitish light, right? So if you turn them all on, you get white. So these three colors together can actually help you create the different colors, and that's why you have RGB lights, because you can make all these different colors using this combination, this three combination light. All right, I'm going to take this out. So now let's do something interesting. Let's connect these. Instead of to G and D directly, let's put it into the programming pins. So let's do, so back to my whiteboard. Let's make, I'm going to erase my G and D connection because that's not going to be the case anymore. Let's go G to 4, R to 5, and B to 6. And the reason we want to do that is that we can turn them off and on now, because 4, 5, 6, we're talking about the pins on the Arduino Noggin. So green to pin 4, so I got to go to the S row for the signal 4. Red to 5, blue to 6. Here we go. Okay. Now, let me pull up my coding site here, and let's turn these guys on. See what happens here. We got void setup, pin mode 4 as an output, pin mode 5 as an output, pin mode 6 as an output. So I set all three of those on as outputs, and then I do void loop. This is the code that runs in a loop. Let's just turn the red on. So I got to look at my circuit here. 4 is green, 5 is red, 6 is blue. 4 is green. So I'm going to put a comment here. 5 is red and 6 is blue. Got to make sure, just make sure. 5 is red, 6 is blue. Okay, so now that I have this comment in here, I won't get confused. All right, so now I want to do digital. I want to turn on the green. Let's just go green. 4, high. All right. So if I upload this, my program will just turn this thing on to green. Let's do this. Wait, is that right? Let's see. Okay, connect, upload. Wait a second. It is not what I want. It is not what I want. This is not green. This is like a white. You may not be able to see it in your camera. It is blue and red. Okay, so I have blue and red on, but green is not on. Okay, see, I made my first mistake. So I messed it up. I realized what did we have to connect 4 to in order for it to turn on? Did we connect, like when we connected 4 is green, so when I connected this, did we connect this green wire to low, which is GND, or to high, which is 5V? If we remember, going back to our schematic, remember this, before I erase this 4, we connected it to GND to turn it on, which is actually low. See, I got it flipped. This should say low. Low will turn it on. And then why did these turn on? There's the other lights. So what I should probably do is turn the other ones off to make sure they stay off. I think right now they're like an in-between. If you don't set it, maybe it's just like in-between. So let's turn 4 on and the other 2 off. Now I think I'm going to get this. Okay, upload. Boom. Green. I got green. Okay. All right. So that was pretty cool. I'm just going to leave it here. And what I want to do is give you guys some challenges. You don't have this here with me, but I want to challenge you to write code to do certain things. And you guys could, later on, you can send it to me and I can try it on here and verify if it works. Okay? So here are the challenges. Let me write it in the code here. One is write code to turn on just the red light. Okay, based on what we just, you learned with me just here, just now. What's the code to turn on just the red light? Number 2, write code to turn on just the yellow. No, there is no yellow. The red to, let's see, green, red, blue light. Okay, so similar to the other one. Write code to make it go green, blink, red, blink, blue, blink, and then just repeat that. So it goes green blink, red blink, blue blink. All right, that gets a little bit more interesting. And then number 4 is make the LEDs do something crazy. All right. Now I already showed you if you turn on both certain lights at the same time. Oh, you know what? Before we do make something crazy, let's do a couple combos. Write code to turn on blue and red light. Okay, so that kind of practices that. Okay, and then let's do number 5, make the LEDs do something crazy. So number 4 is that you have blue and the red at the same time, which you should get, if you do it correctly, I should see like a purple here, because blue and red together will give you a purple color. All right, so these are the challenges. This week you're not going to be able to try it again with the hardware because I have the hardware here, but you can write code and we could talk about it when we meet. So, okay, have fun with this. So today I wanted to take a little detour from our normal class to kind of show you that you could take something like this. I just bought this. This is really a decorative thing. Like for Halloween, people might have these outside to decorate, and they're just like orange lights going off with their other decorations. But it's like I lost the control thing. Right? There's supposed to be a remote that connects to this, and there's a little USB charger, but I lost it. But look, I can take it, I can figure out the schematic through some process of elimination and using some of the knowledge we've learned in class, and then we can actually control it and then make it do different things. So I wanted to show that application piece of what we're learning. So hope that was interesting. Have fun with this, and we'll talk later.